Yahuwah Elohim having an old spoken in many portions and many ways to the fathers by the Nabaim, by the prophets, as in these last days, spoken to us by the image, whom he has appointed heir of all, through whom also he made the ages, he made the worlds. Through who? Who did he do this through? His avatar. His avatar. To use this modern verbiage, it was through the image that he created for himself before the foundation of the world. He was the firstborn of all creation. That image was the firstborn of all creation. He had to create himself a body first before he created anything else. Anything else. He was the first of all things, the first to come back from the unaliving of all things into the resurrection of the life. Colossians chapter 1. Who being the brightness of the esteem and the exact, not a partial, not a little bit, not 3/4, the exact representation of his substance, his avatar. That's him. Hebrews chapter 2, verse 9. But we do see him who was made for a little while lower than the messengers. Notice that it says for a little while lower than the messengers. Why was he made lesser than the messengers, the angels, for a little while? Because he came in the flesh. We just read that in Philippians chapter 2. He emptied himself of all of his power and authority. And he came down into a womb of a woman. Let's continue. But we do see him who was made for a little while lower than the messengers, YaHUsHa, because of the suffering of death, crowned with esteem and respect, that by the favor of YaHUwah Elohim, he should taste death for everyone. Whoopsie! That's not what Davison said. It wasn't the will of the Father that he was supposed to die. What? It said that he was the lamb who was slain before the foundation of the world. Come on, people. Stop listening to these people. They don't have the truth in them. For it was fitting for him, because of whom all are and through whom all are. It's telling you right here, he created all things. In bringing many children to esteem, to make the prince of their deliverance, of their salvation, perfect through sufferings. For both he who was set apart and those who are being set apart are all of one. For which reason he is not ashamed to call them brethren. He is not ashamed to call us his brethren, saying, I shall announce your name to my brothers. In the midst of the congregation, I shall sing praises to you. And again, I shall put my trust in him. And again, see, I and the children whom YaHUwah Elohim gave me, the source, the Ruach, gave to him who is the avatar, the image, the physical embodiment of the invisible creator. He created all things through that image. Therefore, since the children share in flesh and blood, listen to this. Therefore, since the children share in flesh and blood, he himself similarly shared in the same, so that by means of his death, he might destroy him having the power of death, that is, Shaitan, the devil. But you listen to somebody like Davison saying, oh, it wasn't the will of the Father that he was supposed to die. That's not what this says. Whoopsie. Why do I keep saying whoopsie? That's what he says. As if, oops, I guess that's contrary to what you've been taught. So I'm throwing it back. Whoopsie. and deliver those who throughout their life were held in slavery, in captivity by fear of death. For doubtless he does not take hold of angels, of messengers, but he does take hold of the seed of Abraham, saying that he did not die for an angel, but he has died for Adam's kind. So in every way he had to be made like his brethren, like his creation, in order to become a compassionate and trustworthy high priest in the matters related to YaHUaH Elohim, to make an atonement, to make an atonement, to make an atonement for the sins of the people. For in what he had to suffer, he himself being tried, he is able to help those who are also being tried, who are being tested. You and I are being tested of our obedience right now. Just like the Mashiach, who came in the flesh to show us as an example how we are to walk out this walk also, our amunah, our precious faith in obedience, fear and obedience. Let's continue. Let's listen to this. Now, you tell me if they're two different beings. Verse 3 of chapter 3. For this one, notice one is capitalized, has been deemed worthy of more esteem than Masha, than Moses, as much as he who built the house enjoys more respect than the house. Saying that the builder who is building their house has more esteem than the house, because it was the builder who built the house, not the house that built the builder. For every house is built by someone, but he who built all is YaHUaH Elohim. And Masha indeed was trustworthy in all his house as a servant. It wasn't Masha's house, it was YaHUaH's house as a servant, for a witness of what would be spoken later. But the Mashiach as the son over his own house. Woo! What? What are we talking about here? The Mashiach as a son, as an image over his own house, whose house we are if we hold fast the boldness and the boasting of the expectation firm to the end. That means there's no once saved, always saved. You better do this all the way until you breathe your last breath, or he cracks that sky. Yeah. His own house. His own house. What did he say here? Let's go to John chapter 14. Oh, you guys know this. We're going to put this two together. What did he say here? Verse 2, in my Father's house are many staying places, many mansions. If not, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. So then what are we reading over here? Whose house? But the Messiah, verse 6, excuse me, that I have underlined there. But the Messiah as a son over his own house, but I thought it was the Father's house. In my Father's house, verse 2, are many mansions, are many staying places. But wait a minute, he says here that the Messiah as the son over his own house, whose house we are if we hold fast in boldness and boasting of the expectation firm to the end. Can you not see it? Is your mind so split and divided that you can't put the two together? He does this more than once. We'll go right back over here in John chapter 14. I shared this with some of you the last time. Notice what he says here in verse 26 of chapter 14. Check it. But the helper, the set apart Ruach, the Ruach HaKadosh, whom the Father shall send. Notice that, whom the Father shall send in my name, he shall teach you all. But wait a minute. He said the Father, right? Well, let's see what it says here in John chapter 15, verse 26. And when the helper come, whom I shall send to you from the Father. Well, wait a minute. I thought he said that the Father is going to send, but now he's saying he's going to send from the Father? Who's sending it? Which one is sending it if they're not the same? This is the mystery. This is the mystery. It's right in your face. You can keep toggling between what it is that you think you know and what you think that you know, that what you think you're teaching, But if it ain't lining up to this word, you are in error, my friend. I don't care who you are. Lester, Vanetta, or anyone else. If you don't understand these words, you should not be teaching. Nothing personal. Because you have to answer before YaHUaH, just like I have to answer before YaHUaH. But the word stays the same. The word speaks against us if we're not lining up with it. You can do nothing for the truth, but be for the truth. And if you're going to lay and carry his children away, the sheep astray by your understanding, you're in trouble. He says it's better for you to tie a millstone around your neck and be cast into the bottom of the sea than to offend one of these little children of mine. This is why he says, through Yaqub, let us not all be teachers. Let us not all be teachers. I know I'm going to get some blowback for this, but it doesn't have to do with me. Your blowback is with YaHUaH. And YaHUaH will deal with all of you unless you humble yourself to his word. He has not made me thus for no reason. I am not to master over anyone. I'm just sharing you what the word says. And the word is true. The word is true. But we're not done. Let's go back to Ibrahim, chapter 7. This same person, Davison, said that the Mashiach isn't from everlasting. I just showed you that he's immortal. But I'm going to show you another one. Let every word be established by 2 or 3 witnesses. Ibrahim, chapter 7, where it talks about Malak Zadok, the king of righteousness. You may know it as Melchizedek. True pronunciation, Malak Zadok. What does it say here? For this Malak Zadok, sovereign king of Salem, priest of the Most High YaHUaH Elohim, who met Abraham, returning from the slaughter of the sovereigns, and Baruch him, to whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all. His name being translated indeed first, sovereign of righteousness, king of righteousness, and then also sovereign of Salem, that is, sovereign of Shalom. Notice what this verse 3 says. Who is without father, without mother. You know anybody who doesn't have a father and mother who is fully man? No, right? But Davidson said they don't want to accept that he was man. He's mortal. Yes, he came as a mortal being. Yes, he did. Without genealogy, having neither a beginning nor days of end, but having been made like the Son, the image of YaHUaH Elohim, remains a priest for all time. For all time. There's only one that is immortal. No one else is immortal, meaning that there is no beginning and no end. There is no one who is immortal except for one. And only one can give you immortality. That is the promise of everlasting life. We all have a beginning, but what about our end? What about our end? What is going to be our end? Is it going to be with him forever in everlasting? Or is it going to be separated from him for everlasting? But you see, we all have a beginning. He is this Malak Zadok. He is this Malak Zadok, people. Let's go to 1 John. 1 John chapter 5. I think this is going to open up a lot of people's eyes right here. Notice this. Verse 19. We know that we are of YaHUaH Elohim, and all the world lies in the wicked one. And we know that the Son of Alua Elohim has come and has given us an understanding. He has given us an understanding so that we might know the true one. And we are in the true one, that is his Son, YaHUsHa, HaMashiach. This is the true Allah. This is the true Alua Elohim in everlasting life. I don't know what else to tell you people. It's right there in your face. It's right there in your face. He's the one. This is the mystery that has been hidden since the foundation of the world. He is the one. That's why he has a more excellent name that has been given to him. This is why Satan, when he realized what he had done by unaliving him on the tree, he had to do damage control, change the name, change the doctrine, change the day of the weeks, change the whole calendar, change the feast days. He had to do all of that because he knew he lost. It was over. This is why the Mashiach said it is finished. I completed my task. It's plain as day. I don't know what else I could say. They don't like to touch Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, where it says that he's going to be called the mighty one, the everlasting Father. They don't want to touch where in John chapter 14, when he was talking to Thomas and Philip, when they was asking him to show us the Father so that it'd be sufficient for us. And he says, how long have I been with you, Philip, that you ask me to show you the Father? Let's look at that passage. I'm going to show it to you in King Jimmy. Verse 5 of chapter 14 of John. Thomas said unto him, Master, we know not where you go, and how we know the way. YaHUsHa said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes unto the Father but by me. Notice what he says in verse 7. Check it. If you had known me, you should have known my Father also. And from henceforth, you know him and you have seen him. Come on, man. Let that marinate in your being for a minute. Thank you, Louise. Whoopsie. You have seen him. But let's put it together. What did the Mashiach say? No one has seen the Father at any time. So how can we see the Father? He's telling you, the only way you're ever going to see the Father who is invisible is you're looking at me, because I am, modern terminology, his avatar. I'm his image. Icon in the Greek. And then the next one says the same thing. Philip says, Master, show us the Father, that it be sufficient for us. YaHUsHa said unto him, after he just told him that if you know the Father, you henceforth you know him. Now you know him and you have seen him. And so here it is, Philip acting like he just didn't hear this, like many of us. We didn't hear this. So now the Messiah has to backtrack. And he says unto him, have I been with you so all this time with you, and yet you have not known me, Philip? He that has seen me, he that has seen me, he that has seen me has seen the Father. He just said that right up here. And from henceforth, you know him and have seen him. This is how you rightly divide this word. So then how do you say, show us the Father? Do you not believe that I'm in the Father and the Father's in me? Hmm? Make it make sense, as a lot of people like to say. It is making sense, but you don't want to make it to make sense because you don't want to believe that it is the making sense. It's right there in our face. But we got a lot of doubting Thomases and we got a lot of not understanding Philips. I don't do this to be heard, Mishpaka. I really don't. I do this because I love our Abba. Notice I said, I love our Abba. Why? Because the Mashiach told us to give our veneration, to give our reverence, to give our worship, everything to Abba. And by doing so, it goes through the Mashiach because the Mashiach is the image. And so when you read Revelation, that's what you are going to see. And we are all going to witness it. This is why, once again, I'm going to take you to Philippians. What did Shaul say here in Philippians chapter 2? Verse 10, that at the name of YaHUsHa, every knee should bow, of those in the Shama and of those on the earth and of those who are under the Arats. And every tongue should confess that YaHUsHa the Mashiach is the master, they put here, but is YaHUaH to the esteem of Alua Elohim the Father. Why am I bringing this up? Let's go to Isaiah, the book that clearly tells you that he is one. Isaiah chapter 45. Let's check it. Verse 23, I have sworn by myself, a word has gone out of my mouth in righteousness and shall not return or not relent, so that to me every knee shall bow and every tongue swear or confess. But what was said here before it was said that? Is it not I, YaHUaH? We all agree, YaHUaH, that's the name of the Father. And there is no mighty one besides me, next to me, even at the right hand. A righteous isle and a savior. There is none besides me. Turn to me and be saved, all you of the ends of the Arats, for I am Al. I am the mighty, and there is no one else. I have sworn by myself. A word has gone out of my mouth, not out of our mouth, in righteousness, and shall not return, so that to me, not to my image, to me. So who is the image? The image is him. You're going to bow down to the image that he has made for himself. This is why he told us not to make an image for ourselves, because he's already given us an image. It's him. He made an image of himself. And so to him, every knee shall bow, and to him, every tongue shall confess. Why are we being tossed to and fro? Because it wasn't established in your heart what you thought that you heard that I was sharing with you. It wasn't truly established in your heart. You were literally still questioning it. That's why when somebody else comes with a different doctrine, you say, oh, Khan, Amat. Oh, I didn't know that before. I see it now. You don't see nothing but confusion. That's what you see. And now you see this, now as I'm bringing it to you, now you see this. Let this truth be established in your heart, people. Let the truth of YaHUaH be established in your heart. Again, what does the word say? What does the word say? The word tells you everything you need to know. If it doesn't line up with the word, toss it aside. Everything, whatever you're reading or whoever you're listening to, toss it aside. Because if it isn't from the source, if it isn't from the Ruach, you are in trouble. You are listening to another shepherd, and it isn't the true shepherd. It is the false one. It is the false Messiah. Now, I'm going to ask a question to all 300 of you right now in this room. Who disagrees that YaHUsHa is YaHUaH after everything that I shared with you? Who disagrees that YaHUsHa is not YaHUaH? Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to ask you another question. Which one of you believe that Shabbat is only during the daytime period, from sunrise to sunset? After what I showed you, that it goes all the way into the next day. Who doesn't understand that? So, with that being said, let me ask you another question. Which one of you believe that it wasn't the will of Yahuwah to send his image down to be unalived for our transgressions? Which one of you don't believe that? Because if you have to do it by yourself, you are lost. You are coming to the Mashiach, or to the throne empty-handed. The Mashiach is our lamb. The Mashiach is our lamb that was slain before the foundation. This was a plan before the earth was even put together. Before anything was created, Yahuwah already knew what he was going to have to go through to make everything perfect. He was the lamb that was slain before the foundation of the world, before the earth was even founded, before he laid the foundation, before Satan was even created. These things I share with you, again, because I care. You may not like the tone of my voice. You may not like the presentation that I gave to you. But what you should like and what you should love is his word of truth. It's his word of truth. People want to take this stuff so personal. I'm not speaking about any one of you in particular. I'm talking about your doctrine, your doctrine, your religion, your own righteousness. It is not the righteousness of the Mashiach, because you're coming with a different doctrine. Let me show you another one. People always want to say, oh, but the son, he's just the son. He came down as the son. Yes, he came down as the image manifested in the flesh. Yes. But you have to be real with what the word says. If the word says so, you can't change it. Colossians chapter 1, verse 12, giving thanks to Abba, who has made us fit to share in the inheritance of the set apart ones, the Kadashim in the light, who has delivered us from the authority of darkness and transferred us into the reign of the image of his love. Excuse me. In whom, that is the image, we have redemption through his blood. Whoopsie, Davison. Through his blood, Davison, the forgiveness of our transgressions, who is the likeness of the invisible Alua Alahim, the firstborn of all creation, because in him, that is the image, the SON, were created all that are in the Shamayim and that are on the Arats, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones, rulerships, or principalities, authorities, all have been created. That makes him our creator, through him and for him. And he is before all, and in him all hold together. That makes him our Father, our everlasting Father, just like we read in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, or you just don't believe in the word that we just read. And he is the head of the body, the assembly, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead. You see, that he might become the one who is first in all, meaning that he takes preeminence of everything that is to be first, except for wickedness and sin and transgressions of the law. He doesn't do any of that first because he cannot do that. He cannot transgress. But what is righteous, he's the first of it all. But it doesn't stop there. Because in him, in who? In the Son, in the image, all the completeness was well pleased to dwell in. And through him to completely restore to favor all unto himself. He's restoring who to himself? His creation back to himself. Whether what? On the Arats or in the Shamaim, having made shalom through the blood, through the dam of his stake, of the tree. And you, who once were estranged, who were ostracized, who were separated and enemies in the mind by wicked works, not righteous works, but now he has completely restored to favor in the body of his flesh through his death to present you kadash and blameless and reprovable before him. If indeed you continue, no one saved, always saved, in the amunah, founded and steadfast, and are not moved. Not moved with what? With every sound and wind of doctrine that comes your way. It's all him, Mishpachah. It's all him. It's beautiful when you see it. And I applaud that Abba Yahuwah opens your eyes to see it. Like I said, all you have to do literally to anybody who says that the Son is not the Father, all you have to do is take them to Isaiah 9, verse 6, and that's the end of the discussion. It's over with. It's over with. Take you back right now in case some of you have forgotten. Just like I was sharing earlier, like Shaul says, some of us, we look at ourselves in the mirror and we walk away and we forget ourselves. We forget what we are. We forget who we are. Look at it. Check the words. For a child is born unto us, a son is given unto us, and the rule is on his shoulder, and his name is called Wonderful Counselor, Strong Owl, that is the Mighty One, Father of Continuity, or that is the Everlasting Father. He shall be called the Mighty One. He shall be called the Everlasting Father. The child, the son, the image. What kind of verbal gymnastics are you going to do with that? The Son is called the Everlasting Father. What are you going to do with that? Just because you say he is not the Father, that makes it so? Not according to what we just read. There are so many self-imposed preachers and teachers, and they're all going to have to give an account. They shall be judged more harshly. I would like to forewarn all of you who want to share this truth. If you don't know what you're talking about, keep your mouth quiet. That goes for men and women. I want to thank my Abba YaHUaH for this word today. I want to thank him for revealing himself to us today. I want to give him all praise, honor, and esteem for who he is and shall always be. To those who have eyes to see and ears to hear what the Ruach HaKodesh is telling the Mishpachah. I don't have to draw this out. It's plain and simple for those who have those two things, eyes and ears. He and he alone is one. He and he alone is able to do what none of us is capable of doing. Heavenly Abba YaHUaH, I applaud that your word has been deposited in fertile soil, that it may germinate and grow for you to bring back some 30, 60, 100-fold return unto you, O Abba YaHUaH. Let every mouth be stopped, but only you be true. May we not allow our egos, our pride to get in the way of your truth. For we know that all of our righteousness truly are as filthy rags. But we ask that you help us to do your righteousness, your righteous acts, your righteous works, according to your Torah, that it may be seen clearly in the light before your eyes, O Abba YaHUaH. Please forgive us, all of us, even those who speak contrary to your word. Forgive us, O Abba. Do not deal with us according to the things that we have said. Please have mercy upon us, for we have all spoken what has not been right before you. We have all fallen short of your esteem. We have all missed the mark that you have given us to follow. Abba, I ask that you will continue to use me before my brethren who can hear my voice, that I be able to share your word and not my own, that I stand bold for the truth and not cower down to any of the naysayers. For I know that you always fight my battles, and I know that you hear me, O Abba. You have shown yourself too many times in my life, O Yah. And I ask that you do the same for the Mishpachah as we continue to walk in your obedience by your word. For none of us is clean without you. It is your word that cleanses us. It is the dam, the blood, that cleanses us. Forgive us, Abba. All this we bring before you, and we seal it with the name of your Bane, YaHUsHa HaMashiach, the one that you had manifested yourself through, so that we may be able to see your image and to hear your voice and to see your form. Tudata Abba YaHUaH. And may all your children say Amat before you. Amat. going to shut this down and I'm coming back. I wanted to make this portion, this part that I shared, for anyone who wants to go back and see it. This will be automatically uploaded. To the naysayers, you don't have to see it. To the naysayers, you don't have to watch it. But if you want to be in the truth, if you don't want to be led astray, please watch it. I love every last one of you. I am not against any of you, but I am against those who don't follow the true doctrine. I am against those of your doctrine, not you, your doctrine. I love you. I don't love your doctrine. I don't have to respect your doctrine, but I respect you. So please, go back and look at this video and let his Ruach speak to you. Because if you don't understand this and you continue to split him up, you are in error, my friend. And with all that being said, may YaHUaH barak you, and may he keep you. May he continue to allow the countenance of his light to shine upon you. And may he continue to reveal himself to you in the mighty name of his bane, YaHUsHa, HaMashiach. I'll be back in a few. Shabbat Shalom, Mishpachah.
Straight out of the book, the scriptures. Verses sharper than fishing hooks, snagging souls, taking tolls, leaving devils shook. Who we be? Messengers, truth bringers, that's the key. Unlocking minds, leaving darkness in debris. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YaH. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YaH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YaH. Listen close, hear us. Shofars be blowing, beat be steady. Word power every hour, truth already. Planted deep secrets, keep fools unsteady. We elevate till your faith be ready. No compromise. Open your eyes, see the light. Walk tall, stand strong with all your might. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YaH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YaH. Listen close, hear us, yeah. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YaH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YaH. Listen close, hear us, yeah.
Rumamu YaHUaH.
No compromise. Open your eyes, see the light. Walk tall, stand strong with all your might. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YaH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YaH. Listen close, hear us, yeah. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YaH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YaH. Listen close, hear us, yeah. Shama Yashara YaHUaH Elohim YaHUaH God. Hero Yashara YaHUaH Elohim YaHUaH is one, and you shall love and with all your soul and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart, and you shall carefully teach them to your sons, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. Shama o Yashara YaHUaH Elohim YaHUaH God. Hero Yashara YaHUaH Elohim YaHUaH is one. Hero Yashara YaHUaH Elohim YaHUaH God. Hero Yashara YaHUaH Elohim YaHUaH is one. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them upon the post of your house. After other idols, the idols of the people all around you.
Shabbat Shalom, Mishpachah. We are back once again. Questions and answers. Okay, so with that being said, I wish I could do this like we do on TT, but I do not have that ability here, or I don't quite understand how to do that ability here. I might just try it right now. Let me see if I can. Nope, that ain't it. Let's see what this is. Nope, that ain't it either. Okay, I'll have to figure that out. I saw someone else doing it on their live where they were able to share a link and allow the person to come up. And I was hoping that I can find that out and how to do that. Andre, you say, praying to the Father in the name of YaHUsHa. Is that wrong? No, that is not wrong. You hear me do it every time. The scripture says, the Mashiach even told us that when we palal, we are to palal in his name. Ask of the Father in my name, and I shall do it. So once again, no, that is not wrong to do that. Great question. Anyone else? Ask Akudi Nazareth. Oh, Akudi Nazareth, you know how to do it? You know how to lead me on that? If you know how to do it, just kind of walk me through. I'll be more than happy to start doing that. That would be great. Because I went behind the ears to this technology here on YouTube. It's so much easier on TT. I think that's why so many people like it, because it's kind of a, um, plug and play kind of an application. You need a whole software set up on your laptop. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to look into that and do it through my laptop. Okay, gotcha, Cody. I appreciate the information. Yes, yes. I see you, Aki Emmanuel. Yes, yes. Let me see here. There was some text that you guys sent me. Let me see if I can answer them now. I didn't want to do it while I was sharing what I was sharing earlier. So Aki Steven, you said, and I know you don't mind me reading this, Aki Steven. Shabbat Shalom to you, by the way, Aki. You said, Ron, Truth Unedited, came out with a short video and said on that video that YaHUaH is YaHUsHa. Very surprised. You must have made an impression on him. I don't know if he even heard me, but I hope that the Ruach has made an impression on him. If you can send that short video, Aki, I would love to see it. I'll even play it here or send it to my email, either way. Aki Quinton, you said, I don't know this person that you are talking about. However, I do follow Aki Ron, Truth Unedited. He has shown through scripture that the Father YaHUaH and his Son are two. His last two videos explain it in detail. Aki, please, Aki Jimmy, get out of the flesh. You are very upset. Thank you for your words, Aki Quinton. And I just shared with you right here, and I did watch all three of his videos where he talked about them being two. And I hope I wasn't in the flesh. I didn't feel that I was in the flesh. In fact, that's what I palawed for, that I wouldn't be in the flesh. So again, thank you for your words. And yeah, I think Ron needs to look at the passages that I just shared. And I don't know if you're still here. So if you are seeing this, I hope you understand what I just shared with you. And I hope you see it as well. But if you don't, it is what it is. Okay. Aki Emmanuel. Let's see. He says the same thing. You're allowing your flesh to take over. Teach what the Father YaHUaH has given you to teach. If I may, Aki, please go over these witnesses today in your study lesson today amongst us, and Isaiah 58, Romans 14, Colossians 2, and 2 Timothy 2. To that time. Shabbat Shalom, Aki. Just letting you know that I am on the live, though I would love to interact with everyone. I'm choosing to focus on Abba's lesson. If I start interacting, I lose detail on the lesson. I understand that, Cody Nildia. Appreciate that as well. So for the two of you that said that I'm in my flesh, I apologize if that's what you felt. That is just that zeal, the vigor that's in me. When I hear someone speak about the truth, I need to convince. I need to convict. According to the word, this is what we are to do. Okay, let me see. What else do we have here? Anyone have any questions? I probably didn't see it. I'm going back through the passages here to see what others are sharing, so I can see if there's any questions or comments that I need to share. I can help you figure that out on YouTube. I appreciate that, Aki Chris. Yes, because I do need to know how to do it. It would be really nice. Where can I find a book about Prophet Nathan, please? Shazia, I do not know. I didn't know about the uh, a book about Nathan. I did not know about that. Andre, you said, I belong to the Father in the name of YaHUsHa. Whether we believe that they are two or one, what's the difference if we pray in this manner? Well, I'm sharing with you again what the word says. Okay. The word says he's one. I don't know if he was here for what I just shared earlier. I gave numerous passages that YaHUsHa is YaHUaH. Okay. Now I agree with you, just like it says in First John chapter 2. He who has the Father has the he who has the Son has the Father. He who does not have the Son does not have the Father. Okay, that is key. But I think it's very important for us to understand Deuteronomy 6, verse 4, that if he says that he is one, who are we to separate him? If we understand that every knee shall bow and every tongue confess that he is YaHUaH, who are we to separate that? If we are told in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, that the Son shall be called the everlasting Father, who are we to separate that? These are very clear and plain passages that is not causing any of us, unless we just don't have the eyes to see nor the ears to hear, to understand this. Mr. Kane, you said, I am thankful that you crushed this topic. It was something that I was fasting on for our corp fast. Hallelujah. Yah really answers Paul's. Praise YaHUsHa, glory to YaHUaH. Yes. Nick, you said that there's a fake Nathan book. It talks about dinosaurs, not Tahub. Okay. Yeah, I guess that would be the answer to that one. Oh, yes, Aki Kane. I had a successful Zoom. It was beautiful. And all of this is coming out because of this. This is what we need. Theo Saka, you said early it was mentioned about Shabbat being from sunrise to sunrise. I thought it was from sunset to sunset, like darkness into the next day, like Genesis. That is actually incorrect, Theo Saka. I like to show it to you here. Give me a second. Let me see here. And the other questions, I'll try to get to you guys here in a second. Just give me a second. Um, Let me first answer the Osaka. So here in, let's just go straight to Barashit. Barashit. Notice what it says here about the first day. Verse 5. And Alua Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there came to be Arab, and there came to be Bakor one day. Notice it doesn't say, and there came to be evening, and there came to be evening one day. It is not from evening to evening. It's actually from morning to the next morning. You see? But you got to see that with eyes that are open to hear the truth. And there's other passages that clear this as well. But it doesn't say from evening to evening. It says evening, and then it came to be morning. And then it signifies that the day, that was the first day. And then it talks about his work, and there came to be evening, which means that there was a process of time before it became evening. And then there was a process of time before it came to be morning. This is the second day. So if you go from the first day, which is it ended in the morning, and then goes all the way to the second day, which also ended in that morning. So now you have what shows you every day goes from morning to morning. So right after the morning, as the second day was completed, now it's entering into the third day at sunrise, morning. Same thing in Genesis. Same thing in Exodus chapter 16. Let me show you this one. I have kind of a, I don't want to say it's a short video, but it's not that long of a video. When does the day begin? You can find it here on YouTube. But here in chapter 16 of Exodus, it literally tells you how YaHUaH was going to test his people, whether they would walk in his Torah or not. He says, and it shall be in 6 days. Give me a second. That in 6 days they shall prepare what they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. And so it says here, notice what it says in verse 6. And Moshe and Aaron said to all the children of Yasharal, at evening you shall know that YaHUaH has brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim. And in the morning, so we have the evening and the morning, just like we see in Genesis chapter 1, you shall see the esteem of YaHUaH. All right, now let's come down to verse 8. And Masha said, in that YaHUaH gives you meat, notice he gives them meat to eat in the evening, And in the morning, bread to satisfaction. Okay, so the morning he's going to give them lakam, bread, but in the evening he's going to give them meat to eat. Now, notice here at the very beginning of this chapter, let me show this to you to give it some understanding. He said here in verse 4, see, I am raining bread, lakam, from the heavens for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, in order to try them, to test them, whether they walk in my Torah or not. So he says that he is going to test them with bread, not with meat. When did the meat come? He said that the meat will come in the evening, but the bread comes in the morning. Yeah? Okay, so we go down here to verse 12. And I heard the grumblings of the children of Yasharal. Speak to them, saying, at the evening you are to eat meat, and in the morning you shall be satisfied with bread, and you shall know that I am YaHUaH your Alua Elohim. Okay, so it says in verse 13, and it came to be a process of time that quails, a type of bird, a clean bird, came up at evening, not in the morning, at evening, and it covered the camp. And in the morning, the dew lay all around the camp, and the layer of dew went up, and see, on the surface of the wilderness was this small round substance, as fine as frost, on the ground. And the children of Yasharal saw it, and they said to one another, what is it? And so it goes on and says, for they do not know what it was. And Masha said to them, it is the lakam, the bread, which YaHUaH has given you to eat. So when did they see this? In the morning you shall be satisfied with bread. This is that bread that was given in the morning. But it doesn't stop there. It says here, and Masha said, let no one leave any of it until morning, meaning the next morning. And they did not listen to Masha, and some left it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank, and Masha was angry with them. Verse 21 clearly tells you when they gathered it every morning. Remember, the Messiah, remember that YaHUaH says, I am going to test them if they will walk in my Torah or not. He said he was going to test them with raining down bread from the Shama. When did it come down? Every morning, each one according to his need. And so then it goes on here and says, verse 22, and it came to be on the sixth day that they gathered twice as much. So this twice as much is a sign. It's a sign. So they knew that the very next day would be a Shabbat. Yeah. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Masha, and he said to them, this is what YaHUaH has said. Tomorrow is a rest, a Shabbat set apart to YaHUaH, right? So it goes on and says here, and they laid it up till morning as Masha commanded, and it did not stink, and no worms was in it. Only when they picked up the lakam on Shabbat, on the sixth day. That sixth day, they got a double portion, and on that sixth day, they were allowed to keep it overnight because none would be available on Shabbat. They wouldn't find it when they came out the tent because YaHUaH wanted to establish when the Shabbat was or is. And so it says here, and Masha said, eat it today, for today is Shabbat to YaHUaH. Today you do not find it in the field. When did they find it? In the morning. So how did they know that it was Shabbat? They saw that there was none of that in the morning. There was no manna laid out across the camp in the morning. So they knew this was the significance, the signifier, the identifier at the morning, at sunrise, that they have entered into Shabbat. If he wanted them to know that Shabbat was in the evening, then he would have taught them with quail, with the meat that came down in the evening. But no, he did not teach them with meat. He taught them with bread, and the bread came down every morning. In fact, they were told that they had to get it before the sun got up too high because it would melt. That's what it says here in verse 21. And they gathered it every morning, each one according to his need. And when the sun became hot, it melted. So that lets you know that there was a time limit to picking up this manna. Okay, this manna had to be picked up before the sun got up too high up in the sky because it would melt it away. Kind of like you would see these mushrooms that would come up, these fungal mushrooms that would come up, and when the sun comes up and it's mixed with the grass, and you'll see these little heads of the mushroom, and when the sun hits it, it starts to wither, it melts away. The same thing with this manna. So they had to get it. There was a time element to it. And so you see here very clearly The Osaka, do you see what I'm sharing with you? Do you understand what I'm sharing? Is it making sense to you? The Osaka, do you see what I shared with you? Okay. So again, we see again if YaHUaH wanted to teach them with meat that the day begins in the evening, then he would have told them that. But he didn't. He showed them that he was going to teach them through this manna that would come down in the morning. Okay? And so this is why you don't hear of him talking about the evening at all. You only hear them talking about how he used manna, and the manna came every morning. So when they stepped out of their tent, they didn't find any. And the only reason why they didn't find any, because that day was signified to them, as it says here in verse 25, eat it today, for today is the Shabbat to YaHUaH. Today you do not find it in the field. Well, again, when did they find it in the field? Every morning. So when they woke up on the seventh day, they came out of their tent. It says here, and it came to be that some of the people went out on the seventh day to gather, but they didn't find none. So it tells you right there that the Shabbat begins at sunrise. There's another one I can show you in the New Testament, and I shared this earlier. I don't know if you was with us, the Osaka, but here in Matthew chapter 28, verse 1, in the New Testament, in the Brit HaKadash, it says right here, but late in the Shabbat, as it was dawning into day one. So this lets you know that the Sabbath carried on all the way through the night, just as the sun is rising, just like we see in the account in Genesis chapter 1, that it's from morning to morning. Right after he says, and it came to be morning, then he numbers the day. He didn't number it from evening to evening. Then a person would have an argument that the day is to be kept from evening to evening, but you don't see that. What people like to do, and here's the argument, and I'm going to show you where they're wrong. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 23. Leviticus 23, verse 32 says this. This is where you get people that like to twist scripture. It is a Shabbat of rest to you, and you shall afflict your beings. On the ninth day of the month, at evening, from evening to evening, you observe your Sabbath. Now, if you just isolate verse 32, you have no understanding of what is being told to you, how you're to keep the Sabbath. Here's two things that needs to be pointed out. First of all, it says you are to observe your Sabbath. Notice it says your Sabbath. It doesn't say YaHUaH's Sabbath, his Sabbath. That's the first key, because see, when you look at the actual Shabbat, which is at the very beginning of the same chapter 23, 6 days work is to be done, but the seventh day is a Shabbat of rest, a set apart gathering. You do no work. It is a Shabbat to YaHUaH, not your Shabbat. It's YaHUaH's Shabbat. Okay, so this is different. And he didn't have to tell them that it's from sunrise to sunrise, because he had already taught them back in Exodus chapter 16, which comes before Leviticus chapter 23, that he was sharing with them, this is how you are to keep your days from sunrise to sunrise. So why the evening to evening in verse 32? Because it's talking about the Day of Atonement. There are 3 feast days, or 3 high days, that begin in the evening, and it all has to do with sin. All 3 that start in the evening has to do with transgression of the law. Okay? So if you read this from the very beginning about this Shabbat that is from evening to evening, it has to do with what we know as the Day of Atonement, also known as Yom HaKippurim. On the 10th day of the 7th month is Yom HaKippurim. It shall be a set apart gathering for you. You are to afflict your beings, that is, you are to fast, and shall bring an offering made by fire to YaHUaH, that is, from your lips, from your mouth. You do no work on that same day, for it is Yom Kippurim, it is Day of Atonement, to make an atonement for you before YaHUaH, your Alua Elohim. For any being who is not afflicted or who is not fasting on that same day, that person shall be cut off from their people. And any being who does any work on that same day, that being I shall destroy from the midst of their people. You do no work, a law forever throughout all your generations and all your dwellings. It is a Shabbat of rest to you, and you shall afflict your beings. You shall fast on the 9th day of the month at evening. From evening to evening, you observe your Shabbat. So here it's telling you, you see, it says on the 9th day, but we're told that you are to recognize it or observe it on the 10th day of the 7th month. So what is it saying to us? Why it's saying that you started in the 9th day in the evening? It's telling you when he says from evening to evening. So he's saying from the evening of the 9th to the evening of the 10th, you are to observe your Shabbat. This Shabbat, not your weekly Shabbat. This is the Day of Atonement Shabbat. So if you can see that, then you realize all these people who are telling you that Shabbat or the day begins in the evening, they are teaching you a lie. And that lie is from Satan. He's the one who perverts YaHUaH's time. He's the one that perverts YaHUaH's doctrine. He's the one that perverts YaHUaH's truth. And he gives us the deception. You see, okay, yes. Abba YaHUaH has revealed that to you if you truly see it. This is why we follow from sunrise to sunrise. Okay, what do we have here? I participated in that first time last year. Tribe of Dan, you say the concordance just says bread, food, or meal, not what is it? Well, let me see here. Let's go here. I have my concordance here. Give me a second to open it up. Let's go to this passage. And I'm assuming you're talking about in Exodus chapter 16. Is that what you're talking about, Tribe of Dan? When they were questioning what it was. No, it's not mushroom. It's not a mushroom. I only bring up mushroom because, again, just like a mushroom, it melts when the sun comes up. And we're talking about a certain type of mushroom. It's usually the mushroom which has been born of spores that are in cow dung. Okay, so let me go to this passage here. Okay, and they spoke and said, what is it? Verse 15. It is manna. Okay, so here they said, and when the children of YaHUsHa saw it, this King James Version, they said to one another, it is manna, for they was not what it was. So here they actually add the word manna, mon, mun, or man, literally whatness, that is manna. So they give, so in the Greek, in the Strongs, James Strongs actually tells you what it is, but it is not that in the Abrit. For they ki yada lo ma ha lo maha. So they did not know what it was. That's what it even says in the King James. But the King James adds the word manna before it was mentioned that it was manna, because in verse 31, it literally tells you, and the house of Yasharal called the name manna. Okay, so if we go to verse 31, let me see here. Man. Yep. So yes, here in the TS 2009, it doesn't say, um, and the children of Yasharal saw and they said to each other, what is it? And that word, what is it, in verse 15, in the King James, it actually says man, which is where we get the word mana from. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So here, verse 15, and when the children of Yasharal saw that they said one to another, it is mana. There it is, H4478. And the word is man. Man. Yeah. Or to say, what is it? So that's probably why the name man is to say what it is, or what is it. And so that's why they translated it as what is it instead of manna in verse 15. But they then say later the same word, and that's why the children of Yasharal called the name mana or man, or to translate, they called its name what is it. All right. Yes, it is the bread of angels. Yes, that's it. That is what it says. Cree. Yes, Akodi. Shabbat shalom to you. Okay. Yes, Andy, you're exactly right. That's what I just said. Same thing. Yep, that's what I was just sharing. Manna means what is it? Yes. Okay. All right. Anything else? Anything else that somebody wants to share? Where are you reading? Are we still in Leviticus? Yehukanan, Janine, yes, we are in, or actually, I'm in Exodus at this point. Calvin, you say, why do people use the KJV? Well, I mean, it is the received text for most of the English speaking people of the earth. It has now come to be that, except for those who just, they like it, that's what they've been raised on. But for those of us who want a better translation, we move on to better translations. Let me see. Got some text here. Give me a second. Let me see. Let me see. Cody Jack, you sent me something. This is the video that was mentioned. The comments. Okay, I'll have to see that. I won't be able to share it since it's being sent to my phone. If you guys send it to my email, then I can play it. If it's on YouTube, I can play it from my laptop. Same thing, Aki Steven. If you can send it to I sent to your email. Okay. You tell me if he understands or not. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna play it here in just a second. I appreciate you, Aki. And oh, okay, Aki Manuel. You were just sending me what Aki Quentin was saying. Okay, I thought you were saying the same. That's why I was saying, okay, both of you are thinking the same. I literally respect all your zeal. Ruach was moving through you from the Father, and I love you, all beloved Ak. I appreciate you, Aki Manuel. I appreciate you very much. And Ahaba Ata Aki Emmanuel. Shabbat Shalom, Ma'ak. Let's see. Shabbat Shalom, Ma'ak. You were inside the live under your Asha account. I said Shabbat Shalom to you. Yeah, so Aki Luis, when I was in, so let's kind of back up. So earlier today, when I was told by Aki that Davison and Ed were having a live, which they do every Shabbat teaching on the calendar. I try to go on with my account, not knowing that every time, because someone sent me a link to my phone and I tried to open up the app, TikTok, to enter into the room, and I couldn't even see it at all. It wouldn't allow me even from the outside to look in. So they have me blocked, and that's fine. No big deal for me. But my Ak was like, I want you to see what they're talking about, and some of the mishpachah that are in there that are also listening to this guy and what he's talking about. So I was like, okay. So my Asha, my wife, gives me her phone. She also has a TikTok account. And so that's what you saw, Yason. I was using um my Asha's account to enter into the room. But here's the funny thing: when I entered into the room, they even have my Asha partially blocked. We can go in, but we couldn't see any of the comments. So the only comment that I was able to put in there was, "What lies?" That's what I put in. I think it was something like that. What lies? Or um, this is nothing but lies, or something like that. And then I heard Davison respond to that when I said that. And he says, "Oh, somebody's saying that we're lying." And after that, I try to put something else, and now they muted me for the rest of the live, or they muted my wife's account for the rest of the live. So I was like, okay. And so that's why I couldn't see what you were saying. I just couldn't see. It wasn't that I was in any way, acting like I didn't see you. I just couldn't see it. I wasn't ignoring you, Aki. Yeah. So that's what happened in that live. But again, like I was sharing earlier in our first segment, any of you can listen to whoever you want to listen to. All I would just say is, please, you got to have the foundation first, so that when you hear someone speaking wrong information, your spiritual antennas are going to pick it up, so you won't be led astray. Okay? Oh yeah, they're great for that. And if you stick around and listen to them, and again, they're not in here, or I don't know that they're in here, but if you stick around long enough to listen to Davison, you'll hear him talk about how you are not saved by the blood. Now, when I heard that, I was blown away. The first time I heard him talk about that, I was like, well, I know me and this guy in this room, we are not going to be fellowshipping with one another, because the blood of the Mashiach, that's what saves us. Okay? Not our works. Our works is the evidence that we obey, that we love him. But it is not our works through the law that saves us. This is clear. Okay? It's very clear. It's all throughout the Brit HaKadash, all throughout the New Testament. All right? So again, it is the blood of the Mashiach. We just read, we was reading some of the passages that I shared with you guys, where it is by his blood that we are saved, the giving of his life. If he didn't do what he did, we would still be separated from having reconciliation, by having salvation, because it was through what he did, the finished work on the tree, that we have the ability to come back to him, so that we're clean. Because again, as all of you know, YaHUaH does not stand for transgression. Transgressors cannot live before him. So how can we live before him? We have to be cleansed by the blood, so that when he looks at us, we are pure, we're clean. He took upon himself the chastisement of us all, the punishment of us all. That's what he did. Hava, you said the problem is babes in the truth go from live to live, become tainted, and then start teaching others when they don't have a. Exactly. Exactly, Ahava 11. Exactly the truth, yes. Speaking of, have anyone heard from our Cody Demarius? Is Demarius in here? Wanted to know how she's doing along with her mother. Yes, yes, I heard that too, Janine. That's why I brought up that passage of him talking about that. That's right, Sophia. Without the blood, there is no redemption. There is no remission of sin. Catherine, you say, I know this is Yahuwah speaking through Ak because it's the first time in my life I understand. Hallelujah, Yahuwah. That is all Abba Yahuwah is doing. Akodi, Catherine Gasky. Andy, you say, we are hungry for the word, so it might be great idea to have a list of great sites for the Mishpachah. I don't even know where to begin with that one, Aki Andy. I really don't. I mean, the only site that I can tell you is look in his word, read his word, study his word, meditate on his word. JJ, you say she was in here and her mother is doing better. Hallelujah. Calvin Brown, you said, but he came for only Israelites. So, Calvin, let me ask you, when you say, but he only came for Yashra'al, can you expound on that? Whether we believe that, Andre, you're saying this again, whether we believe that they are one or two, but you are praying to Yahuwah in YaHUsHa's name, is this a salvation issue? Again, well, so we are to palal directly to the Father. Okay, we palal directly to the Father. We seal it in the name of YaHUsHa. Okay, and again, just like I was sharing earlier, and I'm going to take you there right now, so that there is no confusion. Let's go to 1 John, chapter 2. It says this right here: no one denying the Son has the Father. So if you deny the Son, you do not have the Father. The one confessing the Son has the Father as well. So this is the salvational issue. Okay, not knowing if he's one or two, that's not the issue for salvation. Yeah? That's not the issue for salvation. The issue of salvation is you better know who the Son, you better know the image. This is why the image, I don't like to use the word son anymore because of the way it's connected to the SUN, and they want us to pronounce it as the SUN. Okay. But, anyways, the image says that you cannot get to the source, who is the Father, the Ruach, except through me. He's the conduit, he's the mediator, he's the intercessor, right? He's the modern vernacular avatar. You have to go through him. It's the only access to the invisible side is through him, his skin, his body. His body is that embodiment of he who is eternal, is dwelling in him. Okay? So this is why we have to go through the Son, through the image. This is his image. He created for himself an image. Aki Kane, you said, for the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make atonement for your beings. For it is the blood that makes an atonement for the being. Exactly, Aki, exactly. Without spot or blemish, exactly. When the manna came, the people said, what is it? When Yahuwah came, the people said, who is this? Yeah, I would agree with you, Stephen. Yes, yes. Can you explain to those wondering why your calendar beats don't have 366 like Ed's? Okay, yes. So it doesn't. So we used to have the 366. We used to. I got it from Ed. Okay, to give esteem to where esteem is to be given. Ed was the reason how. That's where, and I've shared this before. Ed is the guy that gave us the idea. And I asked him before my wife and I, well, actually, my wife, I shouldn't say I, that it was okay for us to take his um, design and do it. And he said, yeah, sure, you know. And of course, this is when we were both on the same terms. So here's the thing. So we were making it with 366 beads, but we thought we would kind of cut out the confusion. And we made it 365 with a tie down here at the top. So you'll notice we have two tie downs. Yeah. So all of you who gets beach, you'll see this tie down. Now you can use it however you want, but we put it right after the void day here. Okay. So this in itself would be the 366th bead. Okay. But we put it like this because this you count every 4 years, what is also known as a leap year in our modern vernacular. Okay. So when you get here to this void bead, which is after the last Shabbat of the year, which is getting ready to come up here in the next few weeks, the very next day on the fourth year, you're going to use this. You're going to count this as 2 days separation, 2 void days, before you start counting again the first day of the week, second day of the week, third day of the week, and then the fourth day of the week, which is the first day of the year, also known as the spring equinox, the straight line shadow. Okay. 3 days later is your first Shabbat of the year. Okay. That happens. You use that every 4 years. So to answer your question, the set apart girly, that's our 366th bead right here. Okay. Without putting a bead there because we didn't want to cause confusion. This would be when you count it every 4 years. So this you count every year. Every 4 years, you would add this after you count this. Okay. Once you get done with the Shabbat, which on this one is the blue one, the red one is the void day. And then you would have another void day, and then you start your first day of the week, which is right here, this first silver bead, second silver bead, second day, third silver bead, third day, and then you come here, and it's your fourth day. That is the spring equinox, the first day of the year, the first day of the month. Okay, 3 days later, your first Shabbat. Okay. That's beautiful, Cody Brook. Yes, all praises to Abba Yahuwah. There is my Cody Itzla. Yes, my mom is recovering. Thank you for all your palas. Oh, we're so happy to hear that, Cody. Please give our love, our ahaba to your mom. To the top for that, Cody Chanel. Calvin Brown, you read he came for his people. Yes, and okay, so again, let's talk about the people of the book. There are those again who don't truly understand, and their prophecy is clouded. Their understanding of who the people are clouded because they don't know who the people are. And so here in this channel, just like what you're saying, Calvin, it's true. He says that he only came for the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal. Yeah, this is true. This is true. With that being said, he has allowed other people of other paint jobs, as I like to say, other ethnicities who would also accept the same, and hear this, who will also accept the same agreement, the same contract, the same marriage contract, marriage vows that was given to the children of Yasharal at the foot of Mount Sinai. For those who wish to also come under that bond of the agreement, he would allow them to become sons and daughters as well as one who was native born, even if they were Gentile, just like Cornelius in Acts chapter 10. Kappa, who they changed his name to Peter, he too didn't realize this until he had that vision when he was sitting on top of that house on the roof. And you remember or recall by reading where it says that, and the sheet that was held by the four corners came down, descended from the Shama, because he was in a trance, he was in a vision state. And Yahuwah said, rise up and eat. Kill and eat, Kappa. And Kappa said, what? He says, I've never let anything that is unclean or common come to my mouth. Why? Because he was keeping the dietary laws of Leviticus chapter 11. He was looking at this strictly for what it was when it came down on the sheet, and he saw all these four-footed things and creepy crawling beasts and or creepy crawling insects and all these beasts that were unclean. And I would probably imagine there was probably a swine on there, a pig, an oink oink. He's like, I ain't touching it. And so the vision that we're told in Acts chapter 10, it happened 3 times. And he was wondering, it says, after that, what did that vision mean? Because he knew it had nothing to do with food. He knew that the food, we can't eat these certain things. It wasn't until he went before Cornelius when YaHUaH told him, you are to ask no questions. I've sent these people to you. You are to go with them. And so he went with them. Went with Cornelius's soldiers, because Cornelius was a captain of a regiment of the Italian army. And so he enters into Cornelius's house. I'm just kind of breaking this down. You can read it for yourself in Acts chapter 10. He enters into this man's house and he says, you know that it is not right for me to walk into another man who is of a different nationality into their house, being a Yahudi. So right then and there, we know that they are two different ethnic groups. Kappa is of the tribe or the children of Yasharal, and Cornelius was an Italian. He was what we would today call a European of the Japheth line. And so then later on, you see that YaHUaH had revealed to him. He then understood the vision that YaHUaH had given him when he was in a trance. That YaHUaH had showed to me that I was to call no person common or unclean. So he understood what the vision was. It had nothing to do with eating food. So going back to what you're saying, Calvin, I had to say that because right there you see that YaHUaH had accepted even those who were not of Israel, who would become Israel. This is what Shaul was explaining in Romans chapter 11, that the wild olive tree branches will be broken off of those who believe, and they shall be grafted into the natural olive tree. Why? Because they have accepted the bond of the agreement, just like a true Yasharal. So now they become adopted in, so now they can call our Father Abba, because now they're one as we are one with him. Abba is not looking at the bloodline, but he's not done with the bloodline. He's still dealing with the bloodline because he made a promise to Abraham and to his seed. And so this is why we're seeing so many of our people of the so-called African American persuasion, those that they have named us black or Negro. Our eyes are starting to open up because this is fulfilling the book, that he is going to remove this veil from off of our eyes so that we may come to know this truth, because the times of the Gentiles is almost over. It's literally almost over. What is the times of the Gentiles? Those Gentiles that he is going to accept in, that he's going to bring in. He says that I will call those who are not my people, and I will be their mighty one, and they shall be my people. You see, the children of Yasharal have been called his people. He never said that they were not his people, because they are his people. Even when he divorced them, he says, I've given you a certificate of divorce. But then what does he turn around and what did he say to the Nabi Yirmiyahu, the prophet Jeremiah? In Jeremiah chapter 3, he says, come back to me, Yasharal. I am married to you, you backslider. Come back to me. So he says that he will remarry Yasharal again. That divorce is only a divorce until he reconciles us back to himself. This is why he came back and gave us a renewed agreement, not a total new agreement. There's nothing new with this agreement. The only thing that he did that he changed was how we would be cleansed, how we would be made pure, no longer with the blood of lambs, bulls, and goats, but with his own blood. He bought us with his own blood. He redeemed us with his own blood. So when he redeemed us, we were no longer divorced to him. This is why it says that as long as he lives, and we know he lives forever, you cannot marry another unless the husband dies. Then you can marry another. But our husband never dies. So the only thing you can do is go back to the husband. You have to come back to the house. You have to be remarried to your husband. I hope that makes sense. Okay, what else do we have here? You're very welcome, YaHUaH 2120. Anyone else want to share something? A question, a comment? I'll just be reading it and trying to answer if I'm able to. Oh, I thought you wanted me to read all of that, Cody. Carmen, I was like, whoa. Aki Jimmy, we, Mishpaka, the family calling YaHUsHa big brother. Yes, JJ. Yes. He says that he is not ashamed to call us brothers. Yes, in Hebrew. In Ibrahim. Lexon, can you speak on dreams when they come to pass? You're gonna have to give me a little more than that because there are dreams even of things that have been given to us by Shaitan or the fallen ones as well, including demons, that those dreams can come to pass. That doesn't mean it's from YaHUaH. YaHUaH 2120, not today, but email me at ambassadorsofyah@gmail, and I will connect you. I will forward your request to my wife. She's the one who makes the calendar beads, and then she will get a hold of you and go from there. Chanel, you say, where is leap year in scripture? Well, I can show you in the book of Enoch. Let me show you in the book of Enoch. Where is it here? Okay, let me pull this one up. Stephen Thaw, you said, what name should I use for JESUS? YaHUsHa. YaHUsHa. That is YaHUsHa. Okay, so let me show you this here, Cody Chanel. This is in chapter 74. Okay. Aki Danielle, you said read Baruch 3:35-7. Yes, give me a second, Aki, and I'll get to that here. Give me a second. For God, Stephen, YaHUaH. YaHUaH, YaHUaH. Or you can even say Elohim, which is a plural version of that. Are we supposed to be immersed? Yes, child of Yah. We should be immersed if we're able to, yes. Okay, so Chanel, this is 74 verse 11. You see here where I have it underlined, and the overplus of the sun and the stars, notice the moon is not mentioned, amounts to 6 days and 5 years. Okay, that's very significant because what it's telling you is that there's an overlap of 6 days and 5 years. And let me show you that. I'm going to open up my calculator. Okay, and I'm going to show you my calculator here in a second. Just let me open it up. Oh, I did that twice. Okay, here we go. This is how you get to the link tree right here. You see it right there? Oh, let me get my finger out the way. You see that, Aki Kane? www.linktree, or you can go to ambassadorsofyah.com and it'll take you directly to the link tree. Okay, so now, so remember what it said here. I'll move that out the way. In verse 11, Chanel, It says, and the overplus of the sun and the stars amounts to 6 days and 5 years. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do 5 times, and we know we're to only follow a 364-day calendar, right? So we're going to multiply that. 5 times 364 give us 1820. You see that? Okay. But we know that the sun, the SUN, has a 365 and a quarter cycle, revolution, that is, right? So now let's do that one. So remember 1820, okay? So we're going to clear that out. Clear. Now we're going to do 5 times 365.25 equals, do you see what it says there? 1826. That's showing you the leap year. And this is why it's telling us, and the overplus of the sun and the stars amounts to 6 days in 5 years. The only way you get that is every 4 years. The 0.25 carries over every year. 365, okay? 365, let's clear this out again. 365 times, oops, do that again. Clear. 365 times 4. Oh, wait, I got to put the, I'm just messing all up. 365.25. Just like when you have quarters. Oh, I'm over here thinking I'm showing it to you guys. I'm over here, got the phone off to the side. 365.25 times 4 equals, did I do that right? Oh, I'm tripping. My bad. You know, I didn't pass arithmetic. 365.25. This 25 right here in 4 years makes an extra day in 4 years. It becomes one day by itself. So every 4 years, this 0.25 remainder, like having 4 quarters, makes $1. It's the same thing. In 4 years, it's going to make $1, a 1 full day. Okay. And so when we're reading this passage here about the overplus, that's where it's calling it the overplus, okay, of the sun and the stars amounts to 6 days and 5 years. Loretta, you say, when is the spring equinox? The spring equinox is going to be on March 20th if everything goes well. Is the void day the first day of the new year, Ak? No. It is not the first day of the year. I used to think that way. But what you do when you do that, you're breaking up the count of 7. If there was a void day between the 3rd day and the 4th day, or the 4th day and the 5th day, it would be mentioned in Genesis chapter 1. And we don't see that. Because you cannot break up 6 days work, 7th day rest. So the very last Shabbat of the year, you have 2 rest days. And then every 4 years, you're going to have 3 rest days. The Shabbat, the first void day, the second void day, and then you start your first day of the week, second day of the week, third day of the week. That'll be the end of the 364-day count. And then you go to the first day of the year, which will be the 4th day of the month, or the 4th day of the week. It's the day after the void day, right? It's the void day after the day. Can you explain yourself a little bit better there, Raquel, so I can understand? Stephen, this is called the Scriptures. TS 2009. How do we know which year is the leap year? Great question, Janine. What you're going to find out is if you're marking the sun by using your sundial, you're going to see that the straight line shadow is not going to appear the very next day as you normally would every year that leap year, it's going to be 2 days after the Shabbat, the very last Shabbat. So let me show you. You'll probably be able to understand it better if I show it to you here. Okay, so using the calendar bead, give me a second to straighten it out here. Okay, so using the calendar bead, what you're going to find here is this. Again, the void day on this particular calendar bead is the red bead, okay? This red bead, you cannot just put it anywhere you want. It has to come after the last Shabbat, which in this calendar bead, coordination of colors, this blue, there's 52 of them in this 12-month calendar bead that are the Shabbats. There's 52 Shabbats every year, every calendar year, okay? But what you can't do is just put this void day anywhere you want. It has to be at, let me try to get this to fit right. Give me a second, you guys. There we go. It has to come after the last Sabbath, this blue bead here, of the year. Okay, because this is the first month, second month, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh month, eighth, ninth, 10th month, 11th month, 12th month, right? Right now we're right here. Today is the Shabbat. So I have my tie down above the Shabbat. When this tie down gets to here where it's separating the red bead from this blue bead, the very next day is a day we don't count. Why does it come after this Shabbat here? According to the Dead Sea Scroll fragments Q4Q324, I believe is the number. There is a vacated day. It's a day that is vacated, a day we don't count. That is this day. This is the vacate day, the void day, the separator day. You can't put it anywhere between Sabbath to Sabbath. It has to come right after the Sabbath, the very last Sabbath of the year. Then you start your count again. After you count this, the void day, then this would be the first day of the week, second day of the week, third day of the week. This will be the completion of the 364-day calendar count. Then you go over here to the first day, which would be the fourth day of the weekly cycle. This is your spring equinox. Now, on a leap year, if you didn't count 2 void days after the Shabbat, you're going to expect when you say, okay, you start counting again, first day of the week, second day of the week, third day of the week. And then when you get here and you're actually doing the sundial, measuring the straight line shadow, it's not going to appear on this day. It's going to appear here because you didn't add one more day, which is this tie down, to count every 4 years. So you're going to be off by a day. And you're going to realize that you're off by a day if you're checking with the sun through the shadow. It's not going to fall when it's supposed to. You're going to think it's here, but then it's going to fall here because you didn't count this extra day here, which is this tie down every 4 years. Okay, so English Joe, you say equal day, equal night starts on day 4, 364 days for 6 years, intercalate 1 week at the start of the sabbatical year 7, matches the Dead Sea Scrolls, number 8-day week between the Sabbaths. Here's your problem, English Joe. That intercalate a full week is nowhere in the Dead Sea Scrolls. That's what you are doing to realign yourself. Okay, we are supposed to count 364 days only. All right, nowhere even in the book of Enoch do we find a week of intercalation. You won't find that anywhere. That is a man-made construct. Rachel, you say, it's the first day of our new year after the void day. Is the first day of our new year after the void day, or do you count 4 days from the void day, and that's day 1 of our new year? Okay, so again, this is the new year. This is Rosh Hashanah. Right here. This is Rosh Hashanah. This is the first day of the first month. This is the first day of the first month. Okay. Here is the void day. Okay. It comes after the last Sabbath of the year. Once you get done with the last Sabbath of the year, the very next day is going to be your void day. After that void day, we start the first day of creation, second day of creation, third day of creation. This is the 364th day. This is the end of the calendar. This is the end of the 12th month. Then you go here, the very next day, that's going to be your spring equinox. That's going to be your straight line. This is the first day of the year. This is Rosh Hashanah. And you start your count all over again. Andy, it would be Shalom Aki Andy. It will be after the spring equinox. We will release it to the public for you guys to have the PDF calendar. Again, everything that I'm sharing with you is documented. It's documented, okay, from the Dead Sea Scrolls. These people, some people call them the Qumran community. Some people like to call them the Essenes. They call themselves the priest of Zadok, okay? They were priests of righteousness. They were in the line of Malak Zadok. Many people, including myself, I believe that this was the community that was founded by Yohanan, the immerser, John the Baptist. They were the ones who were living in the wilderness. This wilderness area is known today as the Qumran area. These scrolls that they found in the Dead Sea caves, or the Qumran caves, is probably from Yohanan and those of his disciples, because he was the leader of these people, of this sect. They separated themselves from those who were in Jerusalem, who were following a different calendar and different rites. And so Yohanan, who was literally supposed to be the high priest, he would have nothing to do with those ones who were given authority as priests, the Pharisees. They were placed there by the Grecians, and they've been there ever since. So just like today, you have pastors and preachers who have been made pastors and preachers by the Christian community, by the Roman Empire, this Roman society that we call the United Snakes of America. But they haven't been put there by YaHUaH. Man has ordained them. Just like the Pharisees of the days of Yohanan, of John, man had ordained them. This is why YaHUsHa, when it was time for him to start his ministry at the age of 30, he did not make a beeline from Nazareth straight to Jerusalem, to the Temple Mount, to be anointed by the high priest Caiaphas. Where did he go? He went straight to the Jordan, where John was, because John comes from a lineage of the Levitical priesthood. His daddy, Zechariah, he was a high priest, which, as all of you would know, the bloodline of the priesthood follows from father to son, to father to son, to father to son. And so this is why YaHUsHa went to Yohanan, his cousin, to be anointed. The immersion was the anointing. It was to prove to Yasharal, this is the anointed one. This is the Mashiach, the Messiah. So he was anointed by the high priest, who was literally John. John was the true high priest, not Caiaphas. All right. Who else? What else? Who else and what else? What else we got to talk about here? We got 45 minutes, and then I am going to call it a day. Hermetic hedgehog. You are correct, other than we do not use that CHRIST word that has been given to us by the Hindu religion, Krishna, who is also known as the Christ, which is also where you get Christos, which is where we get Christ. And so we don't use that word. The Greeks had the word Christ in its language before the Mashiach even appeared, because they were calling other deities Christ. JJ, I know there's people that do call our Mashiach big brother. I don't go that direction. He never told us to call him big brother. He just says that he calls us his brethren. I think we need to stick to what the scripture says and what the writings say. He is our master, he is our savior, and in the end, everyone will know that he is YaHUaH Elohim in the flesh. Uh, Nelia, great question. So let me read it to everyone. You said, Aki, we should be immersed in the name of YaHUsHa, but in Matthew, it talks about immersion in the name of the Father, Son, and set apart Ruach. Someone asked me this question and I couldn't answer. Well, this is what you tell them, and I'm going to show you. So if we go to Matthew chapter 28, verse 19, where we get what people have called the Great Commission. The Messiah didn't call it the Great Commission, but nonetheless, we understand what they're saying. I want you to see this. So Nelia, it says here, let me blow this up. Therefore, go and make taught ones, that is, Talmudim, disciples of all the nations, immersing them in the name. Notice that it's singular and not plural. It doesn't say names. It says name, single, one name, of the Father and of the Son and of the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay? This is another thing that will show you that they are one. Okay? Meaning these three titles. Father is a title, Son is a title, and Ruach is a title. There's many spirits. But what spirit are we talking about? We're talking about the pure spirit, the Kadash spirit, the set apart spirit, right? Now, he said this to his disciples. Now, Nalia, I hope I'm saying it right. Nalia or Nelia? Nelia. But he said this to his disciples, his taught ones. Kappa, Peter, he understood the instruction that was given to him by the Mashiach, by the Messiah. How do we know this? Let's go to the day of Shabu'at, also known in the Greek tongue as Pentecost. Notice what it says there. Chapter 2, verse 38. Kappa, aka Peter, said to them, repent and let each one of you be immersed in the what? Name, singular, of YaHUsHa. Just like you said, Nalia, we're to be immersed in the name of YaHUsHa, but in Matthew chapter 28, you said, it says that we are to be immersed in the name of the Father, Son, and Spirit. Well, Father is not a name. Son is not a name. Spirit is not a name. So what is the name? Kappa understood. The name is YaHUsHa. I am is salvation. This is the name that you are to be immersed in. If it was to be said that exactly what the Mashiach said to Kappa and the other 10 at this point, because we know Yehuda, Judas, was unalived already. If what he said, they were to take it verbatim, then Kappa would have said, all of you need to be immersed in the name of the Father and in the name of the Son, or in the name of the Father, Son, and Ruach HaKodesh. He didn't say that. He said, all of you be immersed in the name of YaHUsHa. Why? Because the name of YaHUsHa, what did the Messiah say? I've come in my Father's name. What did the Messiah say in John chapter 14, verse 26? The Spirit shall come in my name. The Spirit shall come in my name. Okay? So what is the name? YaHUsHa. Every time someone got immersed, that was the name. I'll show you another one. We were talking about Acts chapter 10 when Kappa, Peter, went to Cornelius's house, and the same thing happened there. It says, and those of the circumcision who believed were astonished, as many as came with Kappa, because the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh has been poured out onto the Gentiles, the nation also. For they were hearing them speaking with languages and exalting YaHUaH Elohim. Then Kappa answered, saying, is anyone able to forbid water that these should not be immersed, not baptized, who have received the Ruach HaKodesh, even as we? And he commanded them to be immersed in the name, not in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Ruach. No, he says in the name of YaHUsHa, the Mashiach. Okay? But that's not the only one. Let me show you even Paul, Shaul, understood this command. Chapter 19. Verse 4, and Shaul said, Yohanan indeed immersed with the immersion of repentance, saying to the people that they should believe in the one who is coming after him, that is the Messiah, YaHUsHa. And when they heard this, they were immersed in the name of the Master, YaHUsHa, not immersed in the name of the Father, and in the name of the Son, and in the name of the Spirit. Okay, so I gave you 3 witnesses. Nowhere in the book of Acts, nowhere in the New Testament are you going to find anyone using the formula that you see Christians use all throughout this world today, because they don't understand. It wasn't given to them to understand, but it has been given to you, because he's not speaking parables to you. He's speaking plainly to you. You should know that you are to be immersed in the name of YaHUsHa and not in the titles Father, Son, and Spirit. You are very welcome, Nalia. Any other comments or questions? Yes, hallelujah, Yada YaHUaH, Barak YaHUaH, Rumamu YaHUaH. Does this mean that my immersion is invalid? Yes, Stephen. I would suggest any of you who have been immersed in the pagan name Jesus, you need to be re-immersed in the name of YaHUsHa. Is YaHUsHa the name of the Father, Son, and Ruach if they are one? I just showed it to you, Tribe of Dan. Very clear. Peter and Paul, true name Kappa and Shaul, both understood the Great Commission. The name is YaHUsHa. Until he changes his name, his new name, which is going to be YaZiskanu, when everything is said and done. I am is your righteousness. Askia, you're talking about the one that I was talking about from before, that's on TikTok, that some of us were in. If that's who you're talking about, Davison. But you'll probably see him under his buddy's name, which is Ed, E-D. Stephen, we have an example about how to be immersed. Nowhere in the New Testament, and for that matter, even the Old Testament, was anyone immersing themselves. Even the Messiah himself in the flesh went to Yohanan to be immersed. EW, I have people ask me that all the time. If you do the Great Commission, then you will have somebody to immerse you, because you're going to first immerse them. When the person is converted, that person now can immerse you after you have immersed them. So you need to make disciples in your midst, or you're going to have to travel, or you're going to have to find someone that's willing to travel to you, who knows what you know about the true name and that carries this doctrine. But the easiest way is to share this truth with someone. You're going to get a lot of rejections, but that one person, whoever he or she is, that accepts this truth, now you can immerse that person and then turn around right at that moment, and now that person can immerse you in the name of YaHUsHa. That's how it's done. Oh, yes, Danielle. Baruch 3, 35 and 37. Let me get to that before I forget. Tudata Akidanya for reminding me. Baruch 3:35. Hold on one second. I don't know if I have it in this one. I know I have it in the other one. I do not have it in this one. Let me pull up my 100. The other one here. Give me a second. All right. Let me look it up real quick. Baruch, 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 Baruch. Is it going to be first Baruch, Aki, or second Baruch? I'm going to assume that it's first Baruch. Page 62. First Baruch, page 62, and you said chapter 3, and I think you said it was 15. What was the passage in Baruch, Aki? 35 and 37. Okay. So let's read that together here. This is our Alua Alahim, and there will none other be accounted of in comparison of him. He has found out all the way of knowledge and has given it to his servant Yaqub and to Yasharal that is beloved of him. Afterwards she appeared on the Arats and was conversing with men. Is that the passage that you wanted me to read, Aki? That's the wrong one. So it's not this Baruch that you're talking about. Let me see if there's another Baruch in here. I got second Baruch, I got third Baruch. But you said it was first Baruch, and I just read first Baruch chapter 3. That was chapter 3, 35 to 37. Some of you are saying it's the third Baruch. It reads different in YaH scriptures. Okay, let me go to YaH scriptures. Let me pull it up in YaH scriptures. Give me a second. Let me get this big old beautiful book that my Akudi. Yeah, it said she. Yeah. I don't know what all that was about. Some of these translators who translate, they don't quality check their translation and or what they translated, and sometimes it comes out wrong, which can happen, especially when you're dealing with so much information. Okay, so let me find the page of Baruch. Baruch 2794. Okay, let me go there. 2794. 2794. You said what I read was correct, Aki? Okay. Let me just see how it reads here. 2794. Wow, this is all the way in the back. $27.94. Here we go. Baruch. Chapter 3, 35 to 37. Oh, that's 4. Oh, I was holding the page. Okay. Here we go. Yes, we see the better translation here. This is our Alua Alahim, and there is no other to be counted in comparison of him. He has found all the way of knowledge, and has given it unto Yaqub his servant, and to Yasharal his beloved. Afterward he showed himself on the Arats, and conversed with men. I like this translation. It's much clearer. It's much cleaner. And right there, Tudata Akidanial Yahu, it's very clear that it's showing you the same information. That he showed himself on the Arats. Again, plain as day. Don't even have to go to what is another plain as day, Isaiah 9:6. But Tudata Aki Daniel. Tuda Ata. Verse 37 says it all. Mm-hmm. Janine, what other question do they have of Matthew 28:19? I think we covered that pretty well. What's the name of the book? So, are you talking about the collection of books or this book right here that I'm reading? As far as the book inside the book, this is called YaH Scriptures, and the scroll that I was reading is Baruch. Can you explain the timeline from now? Can you explain? Oh, can you explain end timeline from now? Is it mandatory to be immersed? Was the oh, is that the question? Okay, ask you. So yes, we are mandatory. We are mandated to be immersed. Now, the only reason why you're not able to be immersed is because maybe there's some reason why you can't. Maybe you're on your deathbed, kind of like the thief that was on the tree next to our Mashiach. He wasn't able to put himself back down off of that tree and to get immersed. It was by his belief and his acceptance of the Mashiach at that point, knowing that he was getting ready to die. He says, "Remember me when you enter into paradise, when you come into your kingdom." But yes, we should get immersed if it is all possible. You need to get immersed. Don Ahaba YaHUaH. I have been reading Adam and Kahua. What do you think about it? I don't like it. It is not scriptural. That is a pseudographa, a false writing. Even though it's here in YaH scriptures as well. But people compile stuff and they can make books out of anything that they want, right? But just because you find it between a binding of cover to cover doesn't make everything that's within that cover that has been connected or is correct and correlates correctly to what we know as the Tanakh, also mislabeled Old Testament. So, as I always say, for those of you who are listening, the Tanakh, what you and I have been miscalling the Old Testament, that is the authority to everything that you read. If it doesn't line up with Genesis to Malachi, then it is not the word. And the books of Adam and Eve, the first and second books of Adam and Eve, does not line up with Genesis to Malachi. Yes, Janine. So they must have not have been listening, and I already went over that. I showed that Peter Kappa understood the instructions in Matthew chapter 28 verse 19 about how they are to immerse in the name of the Father. Father is not a name, that's a title. In the name of the Son. Son is not a name, it's a title. The Spirit. Spirit is not a name, it's a title. Then if you go to Acts chapter 2 verse 38, you'll see there that Kappa understood what was commissioned for him and the other apostles to do. And that's why he says, let every one of you repent in the name of YaHUsHa. They were to be immersed in the name of YaHUsHa. That's what he meant by the name of the Father, Son, and Spirit. That's why it's singular, it's not plural. And every time someone was immersed, they were not immersed in the formula, I now immerse you in the name of the Father, Son, and Spirit. All 4 times that you read it in the book of Acts, every last time that they do it, or every time that it was done, it was always done in the name of YaHUsHa, because again, the Son says, I've come in my Father's name, YaHUaHUsHa. That's what I have open right now, the Osaka. Baruch is an apocryphal book. Matthew chapter 24, verse 15, hallelujah, the Most High. The 24:15 about the abomination that causes desolation or that causes waste is going to be the third temple. That's where the false Messiah is going to sit. This is going to be also known as an image of jealousy, which has already been going on in the Catholic Church, called JC and the image of the cross. They are going to make an image, as it says in Revelation chapter 13, and it's going to be standing where it ought not be, as it says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, claiming himself that he is Elohim. This is the abomination of desolation. So what those Jewish people are doing right now through the Temple Institute, they are literally getting ready to erect the abomination that's going to cause destruction, because we are the third temple. He no longer dwells in temples made by the hands of man. He now dwells in us. Alrighty. Okay, we are coming down to the last 20 minutes for today. I'm cutting it short. I guess what I would say is cutting it short because we're so used to going 6 hours. Aki Tim, great to see you here, Aki. Shabbat shalom to you, Aki. Got to turn on my little heater over here. My toes and ankles getting a little chilly. The temple in Ezekiel, that is going to be the messianic, or what we would call the millennial temple. That is the one that YaHUsHa is going to erect. When YaHUsHa comes, he shall erect that temple, that the vision that Yazakal, Ezekiel saw. Yeah, 75 is a little chilly for me. Actually, I like it when I'm in the sun, but away from the sun in the shade, Akodi Nazareth, it's a little chill. Someone reached out on TT and needs to be immersed in Massachusetts. Can you announce, please? In Massachusetts. I know we have a believer in Massachusetts. Massachusetts. Yeah, Cody Brook, that is pretty chilly for Hawaii. Mm-hmm. YaHUaH 2120, we got a lot of people in Texas. A lot of people. Depending on where you're at, we would know who can probably get to you. Who is the prince in Ezekiel's temple, has descendants, and is not to pass through the gate? Aloha Elohim has passed. Who is the prince in Ezekiel temple? Can you give me a chapter and verse where I can read what you're talking about, culture, reggae? Oh yes, let me play the video, Aki Stephen. Tuda Ta for reminding me. Let me pull it up. Give me a second here. Let me go to my emails. SQ1. The Father and I are one. What does this mean? I'm already thinking he is not understanding this, but let's see. Let's see, Aki.
What does the Father and I are one mean? YaHUaH, our Father in heaven, has a purpose and will for all his creation, and he exalted and gifted his servant, his elect one, his son, YaHUsHa, and he sent him on earth to be the representative of that will and purpose. YaHUsHa does not speak on his own. It's YaHUaH's words. He doesn't do any works or miracles on his own. It's all what YaHUaH showed him. He doesn't do his own will. It's only what YaHUaH wills. YaHUsHa's doctrine is not his own, but YaHUaH's. YaHUaH has given all into YaHUsHa's hand because he loves him. YaHUaH's spirit is upon him, and YaHUsHa is the one who bears YaHUaH's righteousness. They are in a complete, perfect union that is in lockstep together.
Nope.
In order to bring about the complete will of YaHUaH, our Father in heaven. YaHUsHa is not greater than YaHUaH. He does everything his Father asks of him and never fails him, and he always pleases YaHUaH. And so because of this union and relationship, YaHUaH and YaHUsHa are one. And it is a beautiful thing, and we know we have eternal life when we both know YaHUaH.
So what he's saying there, Aki, Stephen, is that they are one in unity, one in purpose, but not that YaHUsHa is YaHUaH.
YaHUsHa. And this is what this video was meant to provide, that you know the Father and the Son.
All right. So no, he still believes that they are separate beings. Ali Yahoo, yes, I was playing it because one of our Akis wanted me to play it so we can see what he was talking about. Like I said, the only time that I promote Truth Unedited is for research historical content. He does a great job with historical content during research. His doctrine of who YaHUaH and YaHUsHa is flawed. Again, all one has to do is just go to Isaiah 9:6. It's plain as day. The Son shall be called the everlasting Father. Okay? There's only one everlasting Father, not two. There's only one mighty one, not two. There's only one Son or image, not two. It's Him. It's always been Him. Yes, Brooke, me too. That's right, English Joe. That's right. That's what the scripture says. 9:6, Isaiah. Very easy to understand. It's when you don't have that in your mind, you can go off with all kinds of ideas. I've been listening to Truth Unedited since he used to call until he got the revelation that the name of JESUS is not the name. And so if you go back to his earlier videos, that's when I was listening to him. I've been listening to him for some years now. I mean, years. When he was still using JC. Okay, 44, 1 to 3. Okay, let's go there. That's what I was waiting for you to do there. Okay. Anna Productions, you might be able to get with a Cody Marguerite. I don't know if she's still here right now, but if a Cody Marguerite is here, also known on here as Ritty, I think that's the name she goes by on here. I don't know if she's here right now. But she's able, hopefully she would be able if she has some time. She would be able to immerse you. She lives in Washington State. Okay, verses 1 to 3. And he brought me back to the outer gate of the set-apart place, which faces east, and it was shut. And YaHUaH said to me, This gate is shut, it is not open, and no one enters it, because YaHUaH Aluah Elohim of Yashra has entered by it, and it shall be shut. The prince, as prince, he sits in it to eat bread before YaHUaH, coming in by way of the porch of the gate, and going out the same way. And he brought me by the way of the north gate and the front of the house, and I looked and saw the esteem of YaHUaH filled the house of YaHUaH, and I fell on my face. I'm not quite sure, verse 3, the prince, as prince, he sits in it to eat bread before YaHUaH, coming in by way of the porch of the gate, and going out the same way. So this almost sounds like the high priest, which is allowed to do this once a year, to go into the Most High place and back out. This would be also considered the high priest. So I guess that would be who this is. Doesn't give us much there. I don't want to assume and read into it other than what we're reading there. But to say who is this prince, I can't really specify, to be honest. Nix says, if there are still people in here praying to God, just know the person you are prolonging to is God Real. Yes. Unless we read 43, it tells you about the priest. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If you go back to 43, it's telling you that the Lewites, the high priests, or the high priest and the priestlyhood, the kahuna, who are the seed of Zadok or Zaduk, which is righteousness, righteous. So there will be a high priest and YaHUsHa present at the time. YaHUsHa is our high priest. There is no other high priest. He is our high priest. And the rest of us will be priests and kings in our own right under the high priest. No, they're different, Cody, Brooke. So like the book that I have, you can get it. It's more of an archaeological record than it is just to be read. Some of it it kind of reads like the scripture, but most of it is more of an archaeological. Oh, could because of what we have left of it. But this is the translation that I have here. Mary, you said the first time in scripture I thought it was YaHUsHa was in Genesis when Sarah laughed about his promise being pregnant soon, and he said, did she laugh? And she said no. And he said, no, you did laugh. Yes, that would be YaHUsHa. The pre-incarnate, as they would say. The Christians love to use the word Christology. But yes, that is YaHUsHa. Yes, I purchased it on Amazon, yes. Anybody on this live from Massachusetts that can be contacted for an immersion? Anyone here? Anyone lives in Massachusetts? Cody, I know that we have one, and I can't remember her name. Culture Reggae, you said, if YaHUsHa is the high priest, then why is this prince the high priest then? So let me ask you, are you talking about in the Ezekiel passage that we just read? Because you're not getting too much there. It doesn't say anything about that priest being a high priest. That's an assumption that you're making. But I can show you that the Messiah, YaHUsHa, is our high priest in the New Testament. Again, that passage in Ezekiel chapter 44 doesn't speak of a high priest. It just says a priest. There's a difference between a priest and a high priest. AOC Askia, I have watched some of his videos on YouTube. I like a lot of the imagery and the stuff that he talks about, but it does have he's not all the way into the truth, let me put it that way. But he has a lot of great videos, I guess you can say. But yeah, it's not fully, he's not all the way into the truth. But I have subscribed to him. Yes, he does. Yeah, he comes from a Christian mindset, and you can hear it. I'm trying to remember what does AOC represent again in his he uses it, but I can't remember what it means. Michelin, um, The Chosen. Yeah, that's coming from a Mormon mentality. The Chosen. All of that stuff from that Angel Network or whatever. The House of David, Chosen. There's a few other ones. They're all coming from the slant of JC and the Latter Day Saints. Have you guys seen this one by Shattered Paradise? Have any of you heard of Shattered Paradise? He has this latest one about the rabbit. Did a really great job on it. I thought it was really nicely done. Let me see. Give me a second. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's not a long video. Let me see here. I watch so much stuff. I'm trying to go back into my history, but I might have to just go straight. Yes, on YouTube. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, let me just go to his. Oops. It's not showing all of them here. Oh, no wonder, because I'm on the wrong one. Okay, hold on a second, you guys. Let me switch accounts. Let's go to this one. Yes, I'm going to play it. Yes, Cody. I am going to play it. Let me pull it up here. I got to find it first. Shattered. There we go. Shattered Paradise. Okay, so it's 15 minutes. Not too difficult. But let me go ahead and get it here where you guys can see it. Okay.
So there was this kid. He was an 80s baby. And he loved Saturday morning cartoons. He'd get a big bowl of colorful cereal and contently sit right in front of the television screen for hours. One of these mornings, he was watching Bugs Bunny, and seconds after the screen flashed to a commercial, he thought to himself, that's weird. The silly rabbit who won't get it through his head that tricks are for kids, he just put on a dress.
He put on the dress to trick the kids.
Go to sleep, dear.
Silly rabbit.
There's nothing to see here.
Tricks are for kids.
Go to sleep. There's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Now the signs and symbols in this commercial would have flew right over the young boy's head if it wasn't for the fact that a few seconds earlier he had just watched Bugs Bunny deceive and seduce the gun-toting Elmer Fudd, Yosemite Sam,
Open your eyes.
and this strong-looking soldier with the red armband.
It seemed strange to him. Something was off. Even the way the Nazi soldier reverted back to traditional Viking or Aryan ceremonial garb in order to court the cross-dressing bunny seemed like a riddle, a puzzle.
What this young, impressionable kid didn't realize was that he was witnessing an ancient spell. Though he instinctively knew there was a deeper meaning behind the symbol of the androgynous rabbit, deceiving the strong man standing guard, he couldn't decipher the coded message. Then he heard a voice in his head saying, "There's no school today. Don't ruin your only real day off by thinking too hard. Just enjoy this children's programming. There's nothing to see here. There's nothing to see here."
The Bugs Bunny Show.
There's nothing to see. There's nothing to see. Go to sleep, dear. There's nothing to see here. Go to sleep, dear. There's nothing to see here. Nothing to see. Go to sleep, dear. There's nothing to see here. Go to sleep, dear. There's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Besides, tomorrow's Easter Sunday, and you'll have to help your little sister find those pastel-colored eggs the magic bunny lays all over the church grounds.
The year was 1988. The same year Roger Rabbit came out. Fast forward to today, the effeminate rabbit versus the strongman invocation is everywhere. Though the Ishtar rabbit is ever present in Western society, this particular season is a season the occultists have dedicated to the strongman.
Just look at how they celebrated their Gregorian New Year 2026. For the first time, the Washington Monument was illuminated by light projections, symbols of seed to the apex of the phallic obelisk, the insemination of the great Ishtar egg. This is high-level sex magic. But who is this strong man they are invoking?
It took place on Wednesday.
They often refer to him as the All-Father.
Wednesday morning.
But the answer to one question eluded us. Which specific god did Hitler worship? There are entire books written on this, some saying he was a Christian, others say he was a pagan and worshipped a pantheon of gods. Well, it turns out that all we had to do was go back to the origins of the National Socialist movement to find our answer. He also straight up tells us which god they worshipped. Ours is called the All-Father. But who is the All-Father?
You've seen his servants and devotees.
Wednesday.
They even had broadcast a passionate prayer to him prime time
Wednesday.
before all the American people.
Father, all my life I have answered every call to honor, duty, to war. But now fate has given me something I never sought. A child, a life untouched by the storm. Learn to be the strength of the old fathers, so that I may fight once more, defeat one more enemy, and return home to her, not as a warrior, but as warmth, to teach her not battle, but stillness, the kind I never knew. Please, Father, heed my words.
Thor will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Learn to be the strength of the old fathers.
For decades, the predictive programming in preparation for this current season has been drilled into the subconscious minds of the American people. Hidden in plain sight, the 2019 satirical film Jojo Rabbit uncoincidentally embodies this end-time spell.
When you stand before the enemy and have to end his life, which of you will have the stomach to do this? Good. There is no room in Hitler's army for those that lack strength. We want hardened warriors, those that are prepared to kill at will. Can you do this?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Johannes, can you kill?
Of course. I love killing.
Good. Come here. Don't be scared. Come on. Good. Kill it.
Huh?
Bring its neck and kill the rabbit. Or are you scared?
I'm not scared. I just...
Now. Place both hands round its neck, and then one hard twist. You might scream, but we'll just use the boot to finish it off. Kill. 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 Good shot. You are a coward, just like your father.
He's not a coward. He's fighting in Italy.
Really? But no one has heard from him in 2 years. He is a deserting coward. He's scared. And so are you. You're as scared as a little rabbit. Scared little rabbit. Maybe we should snap your neck too. Jojo, the rabbit. Oh, Jojo rabbit. Jojo rabbit. Jojo rabbit.
This is some poster art for the film.
I don't think I can do this.
What? Of course you can.
The fact that this movie was directed by the same director that filmed Thor Ragnarok is significant.
This scene is from a Nicki Minaj music video. And this scene is also from...
Before we keep going, I see people are saying that this is Shabbat. Why are we watching this? Again, this is for us to understand what the enemy is putting out, okay? This is not something that I subscribe to. I'm just allowing you to see this so that you can make your own decision up with what is happening, all right? We are to inform each other. We're not watching a movie. This is for information purposes only.
Minaj music video. Nicki is seemingly a walking contradiction. Who embodies both the rabbit and the Nazi. Her alter ego, Roman Zelensky, is a representation of the notorious Hollywood child predator Roman Polanski. They chose Nikki, a symbol of MK Ultra trauma-based multiple personality disorder, to disclose the ritualistic child sacrifice of the elite.
Your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and mutilate and kill them as a form of a blood sacrifice to their god. You see, when your master is Satan, you must constantly shed blood. However, the jig is up.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
Go to sleep, dear.
Go to sleep.
There's nothing to see here.
The rabbit and the strongman's spell run all through the Epstein files.
Go to sleep. There's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. In this grace.
So they aren't going to talk about this, but in the new Epstein files drop, Jeffrey Epstein was emailing Robert Trivers, who's an American biologist, and they were actively talking about pushing the transgender ideology on children as young as 3 years old. Here's the full email up here. It's very graphic. If you want to read it, you can, but it's pretty bad.
But let's get back to our 80s baby. Well, 38 years later, he's rooting for the Seahawks to win Super Bowl 60. During Bad Bunny's halftime show performance, he decides to switch over to the alternative, Turning Point USA's All-American halftime show, so everyone can have a quick laugh.
But then he sees it. He sees the symbol that completes the puzzle, and it all comes rushing back to him. Now he finally understands what the Luciferian elite are planning next.
Don't believe your eyes. I know you don't love me like you say you do. It's just me in this
Bro, Shattered Paradise dude. The way you put these videos together, I commend you for it, because I just don't got the patience to do this. But bro, like, you deserve to be a 10 million subscribed to YouTuber. The way you put these videos together, man, you did an incredible job with this. For sure. So you get, hey, I'm giving you all the props in the world.
Family, we got another video by Shattered Paradise. You already know what's going on. All the truth, everything that they're going to be revealing in this video is about to be wild. Title of this one right here is
Agenda 88, When Twin Cults Collide. And to tell you the truth, we are not just spectators, because prophecy is being fulfilled all around us every single day. We cannot be ignorant of the devices of Satan. That's what I pulled from this video. It is a masterpiece. And the brother Kazak puts in countless days, right? Countless hours to set it before you. So you cannot be ignorant of the devices of Satan.
Agenda 88, When Twin Cults Collide, you are not just a spectator, is our latest deep dive exposing some of the hidden controllers' most guarded secrets. If you would like to support our work and view our latest presentation, it is available on our Patreon and websites. The links are in the description box below.
All right, so that was that. Again, this is what the elitists are trying to do. And I don't say trying, they are doing it. They are doing it. And so I wanted to show that to you guys, because when I saw it yesterday, I was like, wow. I never thought about, I use the phrase, well, let's go down the rabbit hole. Let's see how deep this rabbit hole goes. Not even understanding the brainwashing that had even happened as I'm saying that. And they put it all in our face, Roger Rabbit. It's like they were showing Bunny Rabbit, Bugs Bunny. All this stuff is all in our face. The Lucky Foot. This stuff is just inundated. And this is how they did, Shaitan did with Christianity. Same thing. Same thing. It is very, very evil what we are living in. But this is why we have to stick close to Abba Yahuwah's word. This is why we have to continue to meditate on his word so that we are not in any way deceived. And so these programmings that we have allowed in our hearts since we was little, like that little kid eating that bowl of cereal, and he's going and just sitting in front of the TV. That's what I did. Like some of you guys said, that was me when I was little. Yep, that was a whole bunch of us. There was a whole bunch of us doing this. You know, I'm sure there was probably some people who were offended that I even played that. It wasn't to offend anyone. It wasn't to harm anyone. It was to allow you to see the depth of Shaitan. And I mean, if that bothers you, I mean, what are we talking about here? This whole world is in shambles. Shambles. This is the kind of stuff that we're all dealing with. So, but we've come to a close of another Shabbat as we get ready to Palah for the Arab Palah, the evening prayer. And want to thank all of you for coming and listening in. Again, this was question and answering time. It was not our Shabbat study time that we had earlier. That was the earlier segment. You know, when you come here, you're gonna get all kinds of things. I'm not one to sugarcoat the truth. I'm not one to sugarcoat the society. What I'm not going to do is be showing you anything naked or anything that's of that, you know, so I try to vet what I share before I share it. But that being said, Heavenly Abba Yahuwah Tuda Atah, for this time that we've come together, as we come before you at this time of the Arab Palah, Abba, we ask that you would go before us. Even though we may break from this assembly, may we be together in the Ruach by you. Abba, we ask that you would continue to shape and mold us into the people that you want us to be, that we are to be without any spot or blemish. Help us to be those choice virgins, O Abba Yahuwah. Help us to be mindful of what we say, what we do, and especially of what we think. Abba, help us not to be so quick to judge one another, even amongst the brethren. Help us, O Abba, not to walk according to the flesh, but according to the Ruach HaKadosh. We know that as we speak this truth, there are going to be those, even of the fold, even of those who call upon your name, that may not agree. But Abba, we know that we are to be loyal to you and not to one another. May we only put our trust in you and to no institution, no religious order, and to no individual. Only you, O Abba. We continue to pull off for our friends and our family. We ask that you would help our family members to see this truth. Help us to meditate on your word, O Yah. May you continue to reveal yourself to us in these last days and time. That you would be going before us, O Abba, ordering our footsteps. For you are the author and the finisher of our Amunah. And for this, we give you all the praise, we give you all the honor, and we give you all the esteem. All these things we pull in the name of your being, YaHUsHa, HaMashiach, the Messiah. Hallelujah, YaHUaH, Hallelujah, YaHUaH, and Hallelujah, YaHUaH, Amat. Rumamu
YaHUaH.
Barak YaHUaH. Okay, Mishpachah, unless something happens between now and Aruk Yom of next week, let us read Numbers chapter 6. And do the Aaronic Barakah. And we shall call it a Yom. And the word reads, And YaHUaH spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, saying, This is how you barak the children of Yasharal. Say to them, YaHUaH barak you and guard you. YaHUaH make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. YaHUaH lift up his face upon you and give you shalom. Thus they shall put my name on the children of Yasharal, and I myself shall barak them. Hallelujah. YaHUaH. And with that, let us play this song. And here it goes. Shalom, Mishpachah. Shabbat Shalom.
And keep you. May he make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he lift up his countenance